Okay. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. We'll start with your orientation class, and kindly, I will give you some idea about how the classes would be. From next week onward, we are going to start with our ancient and medieval India. So, when you do ancient and medieval India, I want you to be more focused on prelims oriented. So you can start preparing for ancient India in advance, even from today, and you have time tomorrow as well. I'll share you the PDF, and please go through this in advance. That is for the future class. Second is for the nature of conversation we can have in this session. I request all of you, all the students here, and all the aspirants here, to kindly use the chat. The chat option is given. If you have any doubt, you can type your question and your queries there, even during the class. I'll check the chat from time to time. Secondly, whenever questions are being asked, and if you can, kindly respond in person also. Okay, we at least not everyone, but some of you within the class try to respond. Keep the class interactive. If you have doubts, let me know. Now we'll start with the orientation. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, everyone, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Can you see the advertisement screen? Yes. Good. Thank you for responding. Okay. Some of you, please respond, even if the whole class cannot. So this is advertisement for 2025. The result will be out very soon. And if some of you have given, all the best. If not, the rest of you just try to understand how notification works, not how advertisement works. Here, if you look at this, few posts for you to keep in mind, right? One is here, ESC post. You have DSP post here in the second one for police. Then you have BDOs here. We have district commandant here. And for class, these are all class one, okay? Then the rest below, you can see inspector of excise, these are class two. Now, when you look at services in NPSC, we have class 1, class 2, class 3, so on and so forth, right? Now, in class 1 gazetted, the difference between both of them, class 1 and class 2 mostly, is in class 1, you are entering at the highest level in your particular service. Some services may not have class 1. That is a special case, okay? Majority of the time, when you enter through class 1, you're entering at the highest level. So the topper of your batch for that particular service, for example, for ESC, the top one of ESC would always get a promotional preference, okay? Provided you perform well even in your uh, training, and after your training there will be examination. So even during examination, after training, you have to perform well to retain your particular ranking. So similarly with DSP and BDO as well. Now, district commandant too. Okay, similarly, all of this. And in class 2 gazetted, this is also a very important post. Some of the services present here enables you to go, your promotion a little faster depending on the vacancy. So you have to keep check of those things and choose the services likewise. One of the most popular in class 3 non-gazetted would be secretariat assistant, right? SA. You'll work here in Kohima in secretariat, and in secretariat, you'll be attached to various departments, whether it's RD, whether it is PWD, PNAR, whatever department you're allotted, you'll work there. This is also a very wonderful job if you want to stay in Kohima and work, or if you also want to prepare for other exams as well. So kindly choose your preferences wisely in the future as well. And one thing, um, gazetted, you have to know the meaning of gazetted as well. No? Gazetted means somebody who can authorize certain things, no? In paper. Non-gazetted means you don't have that authorizing power, okay? And even in this, for example, I'll just share you the nature of job also, okay? ESC. Let me use the whiteboard here. See, these things that try to know a little bit in advance, because later on people make wrong preferences even though they are not interested. And before they join the service, they are okay with any service. But after they join the service, they start complaining, no, I don't like this job. This is too much for me. So you have to be a little careful about the jobs also. When we talk about ESC, these are administrative head. Okay, so in Nagaland, when you enter through NPSC for from any site, whether from civils or whether from technical, this ESC will always be the administrative head of everyone. Okay, and ESC is the most diverse job as well in Nagaland because they are not attached to any department. They're not attached to department. Since they are an administrative head, they can join anywhere. For example, kindly be mindful of the whiteboard, okay? Because some of you are erasing the whiteboard. It is not because of your mischievous deed. Sometimes you touch the screen by mistake, no? It happens. But kindly be more mindful. Now, like I've said, ESC, they are your administrative head, okay? So always choose ESC if you are somebody who like status, right? And who wants to work. Because for ESC, you will always have work throughout your career. You have to join the service a little early. I mean, the year, this January, if the work starts in January, you have to join quickly in January as well. And since it is very diverse, you'll be posted anywhere. Okay, sometimes you may be sent to a particular department, then you can be sent to another department. Okay, you can be the joint secretary in particular department, let's say land revenue. Then next time you can come to RD as well, or you can come to any other department. So it is very interesting, and you get posted outside of the state as well. No? Sometimes you must have heard of DRC. So in Delhi, you have DRC, right? Deputy Resident Commissioner, right? These are people from ESC. They get promoted, and then they stay there, taking in charge of our people in Delhi, and okay, in Kolkata as well. So very interesting job. So please, I would always advise people to give good consideration as well. ESC is not the name of the service, right? The name of the service is NCS, na? NCS, okay? Nagaland Civil Service. Now, second, we'll talk about NPS, Nagaland Police Service. Here, your entry level is DYSP or DSP, right? Deputy Superintendent of Police. So it is a three-star, okay? In your badge, you will get three-star like this, na? So, and there will not be any lines here. If there is line, then it indicates you are inspector. But here, there will be no such thing, okay? So this is DYSP. Now, for policing as well, there's nothing much I have to say. You all know what a police does. And here, if you really want to be in policing these days in Nagaland as well, the power of DYSP has also increased. Back in the days, there used to be customary law and all this. So even policing was very hard, and insurgency element was also very strong in the state. So you cannot do much with insurgents these days, because Nagaland has been placed under NSA by our current DGP, Rupin Sharma. Now even police can start working properly in the state. So kindly think about this option as well. It is a very good option, and you can get many awards if you're honest and you can serve the people. And one thing, most of the time, Deputy Inspector General of Police, you reach till this level. Very few Inspector General of Police reaches, okay? Now, the third one and the last one I'll be discussing is, say sometimes the whiteboard, if a lot of you touch, it becomes like this, okay? So please be mindful. Wesley Awome is presenting, right? Some of you. Uh, just be mindful of the whiteboard, okay? Now, next and the last would be video. So in block development officer, you'll be taking care of developmental activities. So for example, making roads, rural connection road, okay? For example, making panchayat halls, making houses, right? All these things in rural area. In Nagaland, we know rural area is majority, right? More than 70%. So the remaining 70%, which is in rural area, this will be focused. And the good thing about this is, if you are an honest officer, you can make changes in the villages, okay? Plantations can also be done. You must have heard of Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, whereby people are given minimum wage. Works are done in rural areas. Now, this has been changed, right? VB Jiram G. This is a new act. So kindly look at this also for your prelims as well, and people giving mains, you have to keep check as well. So these are the areas. If you're interested in developmental areas, you can choose this. Policing, DYSP, and administration is ESC. And like I've said, ESC is the most diverse job, okay? So please keep this in mind. And SA is also a very good option, Secretariat Assistant. Okay, here you work in Kohima and you'll be an assistant and you'll be attached to various departments. Now, coming to our orientation, let's dive in quickly. If you have any queries, please use the chat to ask the question. Now, when you're preparing for NPSC, it is essential for you to prioritize. It is essential for you to do smart study. I've seen many of the people studying very hard, but they don't know which area is more important, how to study the areas which are important, and thereby they do clear the exam in the process if they are hardworking, but it takes a lot of time for them and they keep wasting their uh, youthful years. So kindly be mindful of this. Now, many of you would be asking, even people who have joined the coaching itself will be asking, is coaching essential to clear NPSC, right? But I'll tell you this, coaching cannot guarantee your success. This is very true because how many of the people have come, how many of the people have attended coaching classes, regardless of whatever coaching center you have registered yourself in? But majority of them do not clear. It is the serious aspirant that clears. So kindly think of yourself whether you are a serious aspirant or you are just some random people told by your parents to come and study, so you are coming and joining the classes. Please be mindful of this. Try to be a serious aspirant on your own. And see, there are people who have cleared NPSC without coaching as well. Okay, I have some friends who have cleared NPSC without coaching. But then these are very few. And there are also other people who have taken up with UPSC. And after taking up UPSC, they have come back and they are giving NPSC. And they have cleared the examination without taking NPSC coaching as well. So, for example, that was also the same thing for me as well. I was taking up UPSC coaching and I was preparing for UPSC, gave UPSC mains, didn't happen for me for whatever reason. So I thought I'll come and give NPSC as well. And without taking the foundational course, I just took some mock tests and some materials from the crash course, and that is how I also cleared the examination in my first attempt. So there would be various kind of journey for all of you. Your paths are different. But the key thing to remember is you have to be honest with yourself wherever you are. If you have already registered yourself in coaching institute, then kindly make up your mind that okay, I am attending classes. I'll attend my class regularly. I will complete my syllabus in time. For example, if we are studying ancient India, try to attend the class of ancient India and study ancient India at the same time by yourself, since we'll be providing you with resources. If you do so, then you'll be completing particular part of your syllabus along with your classes. And when the classes are over, you may not be 100% sure about the syllabus and your preparation, but you are considered as serious aspirant because then you have high chances of clearing the exam in that particular attempt or the next one. So kindly pay focus in this way. Do not lose track. Do not be taken away by anything else. Now, next thing for you to keep in mind is this. Earlier, we have discussed about the nature of jobs available. I've only given you four example. Kindly go through class 2 gazetted as well. And there are other class 3 non-gazetted jobs as well. So kindly go through those jobs, Google those jobs, how the work nature is like, because everyone will not be getting class 1. Some of you will be getting class 2, some of you will be getting class 3, and some of you may be getting class 3 and in the future may be promoted to class 1 as well. You never know. So please keep keep check of the kind of jobs available and what would be your interest. One second. Mm, okay, just give me 1 second, okay? I have to convert the format. Okay, so sorry for the brief pause. Now we'll come back to the session. Okay. Can you see the PDF? Some of you please respond. Can you see the PDF right now in your screen?
Yes.
Okay. So first we'll talk about prelims. So see, prelims is the gateway to success. If you don't clear prelims, you're never going to give mains. You'll never get an opportunity to give mains, right? So every stage is equally important. Just because prelims is not included in your final marking, your final ranking is determined only by mains and your interview marks. Prelims marks are not included. So it is qualifying in nature. But this does not mean that you should take prelims lightly, okay? There are some people who have given NPSC 4 or 5 times and they have never cleared prelims. So they have never received an opportunity to give their mains. And this gives a serious disadvantage for your NPSC preparation. So kindly be very serious with prelims and develop a strategy. At least if you're bad in mains also, if you're clearing prelims every year, you will develop in main strategy accordingly. So step by step, okay, step by step. And when you're preparing for examination, prepare for an all-round experience. You're preparing for prelims, you have to prepare for mains at the same time. So you should, from time to time, do answer writing on your own, write essay, read comprehensions, because comprehension is very important in your first paper, English paper. Then practice writing mains answer. For example, there can be questions from geography, economy, polity, whatever. Try writing those um, paper even if you don't know properly. This is how you develop. And interview as well. Start developing your personality by now. Many of you do not think of interview at all in your preparation process. And when the interview times come, you get nervous. But please don't do that. Try to think about an important issue. Let's say recently in news, you have heard about, not very recent, okay, but just last year, you have heard about in Doyang River, there was accumulation of garbage. So now imagine a question is asked about Doyang River accumulation of garbage. Why does it happen and how can we mitigate the situation? Even from mains point of view, you should write this because environment also they ask. Now, since that is done for your mains, you should also think of yourself like someone is asking you that question and you are answering the question. How will you answer it? Because in interview, you will not be given n number of time. You have a limited amount of time. So how do you respond to this scripts precise to the point? Okay, these are very important in interview. So you should develop your grammar, you should develop your way of talking similarly. Talk like an officer from now on. Think like an officer. How do you do so? You have to be solution oriented. You have to be all encompassing passing in your mentality. You cannot just be thinking in one particular way. Questions that are asked, you have to think from environment point of view. You have to think from society or community, what actions can be done, from administration, what can be done. Right, so there are various ways to do with this, and you can also add about challenges of maintaining clean river. Okay, so these are ways in which you have to think. You have to start developing your mentality like this. Now, I keep reminding aspirants like this. You are in a competitive exam. You are no longer in your high school or you are no longer in your college days where you attend the class. Okay, he has also graduated, she has also graduated. Everyone is equal. No. Now, in competitive exam, you have to perform better than others. Now, please do not get in the mad race. Don't be toxic about it. Just because your friend is also preparing for NPSC and you are also preparing for NPSC, do not get toxic within the friendship, okay? Please have constructive competition. Try to encourage one another, try to help one another, share your ideas, because when you share about certain things, certain topics, then you also learn and you don't forget, and your friends will also benefit from it. So kindly think of it as a competition and you have to be serious. Now, in prelims as well, questions that are asked here these days are also becoming tough. If you have gone through this year prelims, you would also realize how the level is increasing every year. So now you cannot study only factual things. Factual things are still the most important part, but there are also areas where you have to start analyzing. You have to start using your brain. The facts that you know, how do you apply it? Now, in science portion, mostly they are starting to ask application oriented. In mains, the application oriented questions are almost 90%. In prelims, there are still some factual question in science. Similarly, even in other paper, they are starting to move on like this. Even in polity as well, they're not asking bare act directly. Which article says about these things? No, they're not asking like this anymore. They're starting to ask, okay, does president has authority to deal with this power, center state relation ka? So now things are becoming more analytical. Okay, so kindly get ready, be prepared in a similar way. Now, sometimes if you are lucky, repeated questions may also come. Now, that repetition of question, how can you know? You have to refer PYQ. Now, even PYQ as well, if you go 15 years back, it does not make sense anymore. So at best, I will suggest you to go through at least 5 to 6 years. So 2025 prelims question is there. 2024 is also there. 23 is there. So similarly, go back like this at least 5 to 6 years, and that is enough. Do not go beyond that, because pattern also keep changing. Now, when I talk about repetition of question, I'm not saying exact question would come. Okay, exact question will rarely come, but you can find important themes. For example, that particular year in 2024, giving a very rough example, let's say something about a particular sport came, and maybe in the future they can ask about the same sport. Maybe they're asking about certain awards. We have various kind of awards, right? Whether it is Oscar, whether it is Nobel Prize. So we have all these things. So maybe repeating from some. So see, this is how you get yourself ready in static portion as well. Static means from standard books. Okay, for example, in geography, let's say they were asking about iron mines. This year they asked about iron mines. So maybe next time they can ask about any other mines. Maybe they can ask about bauxite, which is your aluminium, right? Maybe they could tomorrow they can ask about copper. So you have to be ready like this. They're asking about, let's say, rice production. Now, what does this say? It says, look at other production as well. Maybe they can ask about wheat as well. They can ask about millets as well. They can ask about soya bean, or they can ask about cotton. So you have to diversify and prepare like this. Okay, this is how you know. And PYQs, if you refer to PYQs, you will start realizing important themes. And when you study that particular subject, you will know where to focus and where you can reduce a little bit of concentration. Not entirely, because sometimes unpredictability is also there, right? Now, in prelims, we all know there is also CSAT component. Now, most of us, Nagas, when you look at CSAT, you start getting scared, no? Without even trying. See, if you have tried and you cannot learn at all, I will understand. But majority of the people, they just look at CSAT and they get scared. They don't even touch CSAT, and in the process, they don't even know whether they can or they cannot. But one thing I will tell you is this: no doubt, CSAT is hard for people who are weak in mathematics, right? But even in CSAT, we have various components. See, now in reasoning, there's not much of a maths. There's not much of mathematics. Here, they will be giving you some questions that are a little confusing, and you have to deduce the question. For example, they can ask about blood relation. Blood relation, there's no math, okay? Please. Because blood relation, they will give you a sentence and they would say, how is Bob related to, let's say, Ray, for example? He may be his uncle, he may be his father, he may be his grandfather, you don't know. But the question will be asked and you have to come to the answer. Maybe seating arrangement can be given. Ranking could be given. Who is first or who is beside Mina? Let's say there is Mina here and three names are given. Now, out of these three, who is below Mina? A question can come like this. Here, there is no mathematics involved. All you have to do is use your common sense. Okay, reasoning is all about common sense. So, if you actually give time, you can do with this. So, now, why leave reasoning when you can? Even in maths as well, there are few areas which are very simple. And in those low hanging fruits, we call them low hanging fruits because everyone can do it and everyone can pluck, regardless of your height. So, in such low hanging areas, you will be able to do it, some questions. But there will be a hard question as well. So, those areas, if you're weak in mathematics, you can ignore those areas. But don't ignore CSAT completely. You should do some. Because if you don't cover up some of the areas from CSAT, some marks from CSAT, many a times people miss out the cutoff by just 1, 2 marks. Okay, and I'm telling you, now you may not feel the burnt of it. Later on, when it happens, you're going to stay regretting the whole year. So kindly do not make this mistake. From today onwards, start practicing CSAT as well because CSAT is a long and continuous journey. Even if you have done the whole topic of CSAT today or this year, you have to do it for the next year as well because without practice, you'll start losing. So CSAT is a continuous process. But once you know the thing, it's very easy for you to revise. Now, even in mains as well, kindly I want to give you some trend and weightage as well. We have 3 paper in mains so far. And like I've said, even for your previous batch as well, there is review going on for change in NPSC syllabus. And the current chairman of NPSC, he is very keen on changing the syllabus. He's very keen on changing the pattern of the examination. Even the previous chairman, he tried to do it, but he was not able to. But some progress have been made. Now the file is already moving around. Okay, so kindly be cautious of this. You are also most likely at the transition period, so you have to be more serious. And if any changes does happen, it will be aligned with UPSC. Not exactly okay, but some elements of UPSC they will start taking in. And the current chairman of NPSC is also from UPSC background. He also cleared UPSC. So he's also very keen of review. So kindly keep this in mind when you're preparing. Now, as things stand, we have 3 paper in your mains. In your prelims, we have only 1 paper, right? Here in your mains, we have 3 paper. The first one is your, here, this is not the first one. The first paper would be English. Here, it will be a mix of MCQ and it will be a mix of descriptive portion. In MCQ, you will have grammar and you will have comprehension. Please don't think comprehension, aro mohantu English te bhala se to pari jabo. Don't think like this, okay? Comprehension are not tough, but we have paucity of time. So time management is very important in comprehension. See, I have a friend who performed so well in English, okay? He got more than 20 to 30 marks more than others in English paper. And he did not perform well in this paper, but he still got the job he wanted. Why? Because he gave huge emphasis here. Now, when this pattern is still true, please give a serious effort, okay? Now, second would be essay. You'll be given essays to write. And here in essay, since it is descriptive, you have to start practicing. You have to start writing essay. Choose any PYQ paper, your previous year question paper, okay? And then try to look at one essay topic and try to write on that essay topic. Even if you're good or bad, it doesn't matter. Just try writing. And bit by bit, as you learn more in your coaching, you'll be enriching yourself. See, coaching is not enough. You have to always prepare on your own. You have to develop on your own. So kindly go hand in hand. Now, like in essay, you will have many topics. Some questions can be regarding Nagaland. Sometimes they can ask about environmental issues in Nagaland. They can ask about particular issue. NLTP Act is, if it's back in the news, they can ask about it. They will also ask about national issues. What is happening at the national level? For example, certain changes have been made this year, like we have said. This have been changed to a new act. So, what are the challenges? What are the positive aspects? You have to know all around. And there is also one type of essay that UPSC does, that is philosophical type of essay. NPSC, we don't have this so far. Okay, sometimes they'll give you certain quotations, right? And from this quotation, you have to write an essay. These things are not been done yet as of now. So let's see if they start bringing these things as well. But so far, it is not in the syllabus. But philosophical questions are very important because it then checks whether the person understand how things functions in the world, right? This is about your English paper. And the weightage of your English paper is 200. Every paper is 200. So all of them are equally important. See, even GS1 is also 200. GS2 is also 200. English is also 200. So all of them are equally important. Okay. Now, in your, let me go down to the more important one. See, in your NPSC mains, okay, GS1, what they would do is certain areas that are in prelims will also be there in your mains. But certain areas that are in prelims will not be there in your mains. So when you're preparing for mains, you have to change your strategy a little bit. You cannot just blindly start preparing anything. Prelims kani itu purusha to I'll study everything for mains. No, you have to see what type of questions come, right? Now, when you look at your prelims syllabus, the syllabus is very vague. Okay, the syllabus is very vague. I will show you the NPSC notification of the syllabus given, but the syllabus is very vague. I'm sorry to say this. Now, in your mains, one second. Okay, prelims ka. Okay, prelims. Did I miss out on prelims? Okay, no worries. Now, here, when you're doing your mains, I will relate them, okay? In history part, in your mains, modern history is very important. Huge weightage. And culture also they will ask, but not much. In your prelims, modern history will also be there. There will also be ancient India. There will also be medieval India. So it's more diverse. Now, current affairs, very important in mains, equally important in prelims. Okay, these two they are the same for both mains and prelims. Statistical analysis, it is only in mains. This graph diagram, they are only in mains. Prelims, they don't ask. In prelims, it will be the CSAT portion. And even in mains, there would be CSAT question. There were some years in the past where they were asking only statistical and graph and diagram questions in mains. But now, they're including other CSAT as well, other aptitude questions as well. Now, basic and everyday science. This is equally important in prelims and equally important in mains as well. Their weightage is quite high, okay? Please do not take it for granted. The level of question will only differ in prelims and mains. In prelims, the question will not be too application oriented, and even if it does, it is a little easier. In mains, it will be more confusing. But people who are from science background need not worry. You just have to go through the theories, you just have to go through whatever you have done in your class 10 level and also 11, 12 level. Then you will be able to do this easily. Even people from arts and other background, do not be scared. The type of science question they ask are not rocket science. They generally ask things that are used every day, application oriented. Or even if they ask some scientific questions, they ask very factual questions or application to what you use in every day, what you can see around. It's around those things. So do not be scared by it. And you have to give importance in science as well. If you don't perform here, your chances of clearing becomes a little less. Now, Nagaland aspect. Nagaland is very important, both for prelims as well and for mains as well. And geography. Around 10 questions would come in your prelims. Economy, Indian economy, not economy as a whole. Not economics, okay? We are not studying economics here. We're studying Indian economy. We are mostly studying macroeconomy, okay? So this will be asked in your prelims, and some economy questions that are current affairs oriented will also come. So this is your syllabus for prelims as well as for your GS paper 1 in mains. They are a little similar because both of them are MCQ, not descriptive. So I've shown both of them together. So when you are preparing for prelims and when you are preparing for mains, you have to change your strategy, okay? Now, see, for mains, they have given some weightage. Latest they have given is 2023. So modern India, the 50 question came directly. So very important, right? From 200 marks, 50 is coming. So 1/4 is coming directly from modern India. And see, current affairs also 50. So if you do 50 current affairs and modern India together, half of your syllabus for mains GS1 is already there. That is why these are very core areas you cannot ignore. Just straight away go and pick up spectrum for modern India. I'll write it a little since you guys are orientation, first batch. Spectrum, okay? Published by Spectrum, Modern India. Kindly pick up this book and start studying. Don't start studying from page 1. At least right now, if you want to start, at least start from 1857 revolt, okay? Or if you don't want to start from there also, straight away start from freedom movement. Freedom movement. Try to do freedom movement part thoroughly because question keeps coming from freedom movement even within modern India. And mind you, modern India is also very important in your prelims. So you cannot ignore modern India. Now, you see, statistical analysis. This is your CSAT, okay? Not only statistical analysis. So around 30 questions. Basic and everyday science, 40 questions. Sometimes it will be lesser, okay, lesser than this, not always 40. So, Nagaland, 30 and sometimes a little more than that. So, if you look at this, you cannot ignore modern history, you cannot ignore current affairs, you cannot ignore basic science, you cannot ignore Nagaland and CSAT. If this area are covered properly, then your chances of clearing both prelims and mains also become a little high. See, other subjects like polity. Polity is also there, okay, for your prelims. Polity, geography, economy, they are also equally important. But three subjects combined together may give you 30 marks, sometimes close to 40. But there are three subjects together. See, current affairs alone is giving you 50 marks here. Even in your prelims as well, it will be 30 plus. So you have to know which area have more weightage. You cannot ignore this paper as well, okay? Because make or break paper has ito. Ito kan najanile, your chances of clearing becomes low because not all of you will perform perfect in all these other papers, right? So know where to start and know where to go. If you start with geography, then the weightage is low. Why start with geography, right? You have to start with modern history. And since this is static and they will not change, right? Facts that are in modern history will not change. History to history, I say. You cannot change. So you can always study that. Current affairs too, it comes for that particular year. So this year, like current affairs, if you know perfectly well also, it is good for you in the process. But then next year also the current affair will change. Some other things will happen. Things will get updated. So you have to prioritize on static portion first. Then current affairs you should always keep checking. And when the exam comes, you have to go intensively. Every day do current affairs, but intensive revision should be done when you are giving that particular attempt. And similarly, Nagaland portion also, it doesn't change, right? So know how to focus in static portion first, okay? If you focus too much in current, then it will not benefit you as much. Now let's go to sources. Please pay attention here because when I'm giving orientation class, you will not be attentive. And people at the end will keep asking, sir, is this enough? Is this enough? Right? I keep saying to aspirant, please don't become a librarian, okay? You're not collecting books. Your motto is to study and to clear the exam. Some people, they keep collecting books and they keep collecting sources. Inya hoigina exam clear na kure because they're studying too much from too many sources, so they are not studying their own source properly. Don't be that. Have a limited amount of resource, focus on that resource, and if you do it well, then your chances becomes important. If in that resource there's something missing, then update upon it. Do not go studying 3 4 books for one particular subject. Please do not make this mistake. Okay, in the end, pichete bookstore khuligina tate aspirants can ke advice di thaki. Don't you, that is also a good business, no doubt. But if since you are studying to clear the examination, focus on clearing the examination first. You can be a librarian later. Now, in modern history, spectrum is enough. Okay, sometimes question may come which are not in standard spectrum, but no worries. Exceptions they to soap manubi equalize. Everyone will make same mistake or everyone will leave the question altogether. So it will be equalized. There would be some exceptional people who will be able to do it, but no worries. Okay, start with spectrum. Ancient India by R.S. Sharma and Medieval India by Satish Chandra. Now, the good thing about Toppers Academy is they've prepared a wonderful notes of ancient and medieval India. See, I was also referring to R.S. Sharma and Satish Chandra, okay? But I saw your Toppers Academy notes for my class and I was very impressed. So even if you don't study these two, if you study the Toppers Academy, I'm not saying this to promote Toppers Academy, okay? Mind you, I can say whatever I want. Please, I'm not saying this because I'm teaching here. If it is not good, I'll not suggest it. I'll not even bring it up. But since I've gone through it myself, I would suggest you to go through Toppers Academy notes, okay? For ancient and medieval India. If you do R.S. Sharma and Satish Chandra, they are a little lengthy. So you may not be able to complete in time since syllabus have not changed now, right? And even if syllabus change, Topaz Academy Notes is good enough to handle the change in syllabus as well. Now, Indian culture, I cannot suggest you any book. I cannot suggest you Nitin Singhania. It is very lengthy. Even me, when I was preparing for UPSC, I had to study. It's a very thick book, okay, very big book. So how can you do this for maybe 1 to 3 questions? Just for this question, you're studying 500-page, 600-page book. It's not feasible. So please, I will not suggest you to go through a standard book for Indian culture. Okay, it is not feasible. But what you can do is pick up any magazine, and for that particular year, for art and culture, whatever comes, please go through it. And also some static portion, just go through it, important static portion which will be taught in the class, don't worry. So these are your sources for history and art and culture. Now once again, moving on to current affairs. Now in current affairs, all of you will have a different strategy. If you want to go ahead with your own strategy, I don't mind. But here is how I think will benefit you the most. First, every day make a habit of reading newspaper. Some of you are very lazy, okay? I'll be very honest, because you don't have the habit of reading newspaper. In that process, you can look at analysis, right? One second. You can look at analysis. Even Toppers Academy, they are giving everyday newspaper analysis, right? You can check that. But one thing I will also remind you is this. If you can get hold of the Hindu newspaper, I think that will be way better for you. Let's say you have Nagaland Post or Morung or whatever you have. You can look at that for Nagaland portion news, okay? And some editorials, sometimes on important issues, let's say abduction of Mr. Keats in Dimapur. So some editorial regarding this topic is written. Maybe you can go through it to understand their perspective. Thereby, in interview, you can come up with some thought process, but only Naga-related issue, okay? Things that are happening in Nagaland. And for the rest of national and international news, I would suggest you to go through the Hindu. That will be more beneficial for you. But if you can get only Nagaland Post also, no worries. International issues and national issues are also discussed there. And you have to limit yourself. Initially, you can take around 1 hour to study a newspaper. But as and when you start reading more and more, your knowledge increases. You should try to reduce it to 30 minutes or so, okay? Newspaper. Don't indulge too much because newspaper, they are giving you raw news. This has to be processed and removal of unimportant news, removal of unimportant facts, and taking of facts that are important for examinations. You cannot do this on your own. But if you start reading more, then you'll be able to identify it quickly. Now, why do monthly magazine exist? Is because in that particular year, in that particular month, whatever important topics are present in the news and how to be prepared for examination point of view is mentioned in your monthly magazine. Okay, so monthly magazine is very essential for your examination. If you are in January, no, we are not in January anymore. We'll be in Feb very soon. So when you are entering February, try to get hold of January monthly current affairs. Now try to do all of them. And in February, go through the newspaper every day. So you don't lose track of the news. January lagahi purigina February laga news to eku najnia. How is that an aspirant, right? So you have to keep in touch with the current news as well. And when you read monthly, the next month or that previous month, you'll be able to relate. Okay, I've seen this in the news, though I have not understood properly. Okay, that thing helps you. Now, yearly magazine is for you to revise during the examination. So you have not done all this step, and straight away during exam you're only doing yearly magazine, then it may be a little hard for you to catch up. Okay, and even in your current affairs as well, please sorry, if they're important awards, keep that in mind. Important schemes if they are there. Sports also, whether it is chess, whether it is cricket. This time in your 2025, these questions were asked about chess and about cricket. Okay, so something regarding science and tech. They were asking about Aditya L1. So this was regarding science and tech. So various topic, who is what also they will ask. And let's say international relations, the finance foreign minister went to this area, or defense minister went to this country, whatever it is. Okay, international relations, what is happening, bilateral relations between nations, you have to keep track of these things. Moving on, for CSAT, there is no particular source, because if you study those sources as well, you will not learn much. And we are not trying to specialize in maths, right? So it will become very hard for you to follow standard books. I'll be very honest with you here. So the best thing for you to do is, if there are some mentors teaching you in your CSAT, okay, Toppers Academy mentors, any faculty teaching you, follow them. And if you don't, then one second, you can go to YouTube as well. In YouTube, there are many CSAT videos as well. Okay, so what you have to do is uh, download those important areas in your CSAT. You can do that with the help of your CSAT mentor in Topaz Academy, and you can follow his class. And at the same time, if you want to enhance yourself, then let's say percentage laga area, then just type percentages CSAT, no? Then they will, in YouTube there would be some explanation, and you can watch those videos as well. So don't follow standard books here, okay? Because how can you study on your own? In CSAT you need people to teach you. Now everyday science as well. In everyday science, the best way for you to do is to study some standard book to start with. You know, Lucent also, people refer it a lot. And at the same time, your classes, okay, please follow them properly as well, because they will give you important areas and you have to track them. And see, no doubt class 10 book is also fine, but I'll be very honest with you, they're asking very limited question from class 10, because now we're moving to application oriented. And I will not suggest you to go through 11 and 12 science, okay? Because anyone from science background knows how vast 11 and 12 science book is, no? Because we have physics, chemistry, bio, all this separated. So, Dvita year laga, 6 books, purule, I will not suggest you, okay? So, you have to be smart, you have to refer to PYQs, you have to go through some important theories, certain, things that is application oriented, you have to go through them. So, Coaching Institute will play a very important role for your everyday science. And even in Lucent as well, they have given proper explanation, CRIPS, line oriented, and practice a lot of questions as well, PYQs. In Nagaland portion, there are 2 books that people mostly follow. It's up to you. So whether you want to follow a comprehensive book of Nagaland by Pira, or Nagaland Uncovered by M. Tungyo, it's up to you, okay? I will not suggest you this over the other. But one thing is for sure, these days questions are also coming beyond the standard books as well. So you have to follow newspaper properly. Now, sometimes in newspaper, they may not be written, but in your YouTube as well, it may come, or sometimes government notification also. So you have to be a little smart when it comes to Nagaland portion. If you, let's say, in certain areas there are some discoveries, then you have to keep track of that. Maybe in certain areas, certain festivals are being done which are not in your standard books. Then you also have to keep that in mind. So many ways to look at it, or certain geographical locations, if it is popular in the news, try to know where it is and what is it about. Okay, these things you have to keep this in mind. And for your mains also, whatever is happening in Nagaland and heated topics in Nagaland, you have to keep that in mind as well. Okay, so this is for Nagaland portion. For geography as well, like I've said, in geography, in your prelims, around 10 to 12 questions may come. It may differ. Now, if you're good in geography, this is a huge advantage, okay? So here, I will not suggest you to go through any standard books as well. Here, NCRT is enough. Go through NCRT and then GC Leong. Okay, there's a book by GC Leong. Go through it. And when you do so, please, there will be topics for many areas, okay? Please don't go too in-depth there. You have to, that is why you have to be smart. Everyone attend coaching, but people who are smart and people who analyze question paper and people who do trend analysis, they clear the exam a little early, okay? And some takes a very long time, 6 7 years also. So what I'm suggesting is, you have to be serious. You have to be the person to know. Okay, we can speak and talk and talk and talk the whole day. Most of you have forgotten what I've said. Some of you must have retained it. Now, some of you who have retained it also, it's like a Venn diagram. Nah? So, most of you may have forgotten it. Some of you, there are a group of people who have, boys and girls who have understood this. Maybe within that as well, we may have another group of people who will actually go and implement it, who will actually go through the PYQs. Exam to next year, so there could no way, not like this. Going through PYQs now, understanding questions, understanding which area is more important within particular subject also. Knowing these things, okay, this is how difference occurs. And if you do PYQ analysis, whenever you study any topic, for example, you are studying ancient India and you are studying Magadha Empire. You are studying Magadha Empire. Then let's say Hirayanka dynasty. Tate you have met Ajatasattu. So Ajatasattu to ki kurishe. Inyana. Okay, now this guy is important. First Buddhist council laga topic aishe kuledo. Then okay, tate the material has stopped. But in your previous section of Buddhism, you must have thought about first Buddhist council, second Buddhist council. So then you would go back and see who was the chairperson in this one, who was the patron, right? And then the same person comes back, and then where was the venue? Is it in Pataliputra? Is it in Rajgiri? Is it in Vaishali? Where was it located? Okay, you will be so confused. So when you are studying, you have to identify which area is important from exam point of view, which areas are not very important. Prioritization, like I've said, because the syllabus is very vast and very diverse. Polity purigina kali economy purijabo, geography purijabo, history purigina Nagaland te wapas aigona. So it is very diverse. So you have to be smart and you have to know how to prioritize if you want to clear the examination quick. Okay, if you want to clear the examination quick, and when you are young, it is the best time to start. Some of you who are a little older, late, don't worry, you may not have started in the past, but now since you have started, start well. This is the right time to start for you. Okay, now see, when you enter service, the maximum years you can do is 35 years. Okay, so some of you, when you are in the service, you may end up a little old to 30 years si kurule paishe, 25 years kurule paishe, whatever the year may be, right? In service also you can keep applying. So Inya hulu tu, when you don't enter service, you don't think of these things. But later on, when you look at your promotional scope, na after entering, are mo itu level thi punchi aso, you're getting NCS. Ina hoigna as mo itu IAS te confer kulen apri jeshi ho because I enter a little late na. Inya aside. To itu warne, if you are young, this is the best time you're doing NPS na. And piche the as mo ke IPS te confer kulen apri jeshi ho. Inya na because I enter a little late. Inya hui jogo de. And if you enter a myth and whatnot, and as IS confer within 1 year hit na. And if you've entered quickly, I might have stayed for a few more years. These things would keep coming. So now, when you are young, please be diligent and start preparing. So geography, it was a little off the track, but this is the only time I can say these things. Okay, for when you're taking up orientation. Next is economy, right? Economy also weightage is almost the same. Current and static combined maybe around 10 questions, okay? In and around that margin. So in economy as well, it is very hard for me to suggest a book. No doubt, if you can do Sanjeev Verma, it will be very good. Ramesh Singh is a little vast, okay? If you can do Sanjeev Verma, well and good. But then it is also vast and questions are also less. So I'm also a little hesitant to suggest you a standard book. But then it comes down to your individual preference, right? Toppers Academy has also prepared a good PDF, and they have uh, taken the source from very good books. So I would even suggest you see areas whereby it's hard for me to suggest standard books. I suggest you to do Coaching Institute notes. And I have gone through Toppers Academy Economy PDF as well. Okay. Two materials I've gone through their economy paper and their ancient and medieval. And I can say they are good. Ancient and medieval is better than the economy. Okay. But then both of them also they're equally good. Economy also very good. Questions that come, it's covered here in economy. But the thing is, with your economy, let's say you're doing Toppers Academy PDF, okay? Plus, you have to keep current affairs in mind because current affairs oriented question does come. Static, they know what we imagine they don't generally ask. So it's a little disappointing. Hopefully, the pattern will change and people who are honestly working hard will be rewarded with tougher questions, okay? Right now, though, it is not very, not to the mark. Now, General Studies Paper 2. In General Studies Paper 2, see, this is where descriptive portion comes. Now, in descriptive portion, what you do is you write, na? I don't have to explain this. Question I will and then answer likhibo. Poila do what was it? MCQ, right? GS1. In GS1, MCQ. Now we have to start writing. In this, please keep this in mind. If you do Indian polity very well, then you can deal with Indian polity paper and puppet paper also. Puppet, na, it was, they used to ask puppet specific, okay, very specific puppet question, which was only doable by people who have done puppet. But these days, direct puppet questions have been decreasing. They're not focusing as much. Polity, no doubt, they are emphasizing, okay, it's still very important and relevant. But puppet, they are trying to reduce. So, puppet, when you study puppet, you have to study only important areas, okay? Only important topics. There may be important theories like Taylorism, postcarp, and all this. Nah, there would be some important topics. When you take up coaching, your ma'am or your sir, whoever it is, I don't want to take puppet. I find it do something because it's not too important as well. Nah? So whoever takes it up, they will give you some important areas and please do it well. Indian polity, you have to do thoroughly. Okay. Now, even Indian economy and geography, they will ask you questions, okay, here. But then sometimes in geography and economy mix kurigina bi hudibole parbo de, or environment and economy mix kurigina hudibole parbo. 10 markers they, okay, the higher land ka. But both of them generally they are in 2 markers and 5 markers. Now, social problems and all these environmental problems that we have discussed, this can come in lengthier portions, okay? And then Nagaland. Nagaland, we have a separate paper for Nagaland. There will be section A, not paper section. Then we have section B, right? So the second section would be for Nagaland. So if you are very good in Nagaland, in your GS paper 2, you have an advantage, okay? So please, like I've said, prelims TV Nagaland ase, GS1, even in GS1 there is Nagaland, GS2 also Nagaland. So Nagaland portion very important for your NPSC. Now, administration in Nagaland. This is also part of Nagaland, but within it, administration you have to also keep in mind. For example, could be, Dobasi. Question about Dobasi may be asked. Maybe question about the role of EAC during disaster management, or VDB. Anything regarding these things, it can be asked, okay? So, or maybe issue about home department, no? Home department administration, their role, anything may be asked, okay? So please keep this in mind. Let me clear this up. It may feel like information overload right now, but do not be scared. You have a lot of time. I'll give you some gyan again, okay? When we are preparing for competitive exam, this topic will always come up: speed versus consistency, okay? Some people are very smart, or man speedily success paijai. These are people who clear the exam in their first attempt. No doubt about it. There are exceptional people like this, okay? First attempt digina class 1 paigina hushi. Moi do exam na dijabo in PSC to. Inya khan very rare, okay? Majority of the people is through consistency. First attempt de panai hu, second attempt de paishe. Second attempt panai, third attempt paishe. My sixth attempt de moi kushi pa laga paishe ho, like this na. Because in his fourth attempt maybe he got SA. Then in his sixth attempt maybe he got DSP if he wanted. So whatever he wanted, he already achieved. So the nature is like this. So consistency matters. Okay, this is not a 100-meter dash. Okay, this is not a 100-meter dash. This is a marathon. NPSC is a marathon. Any competitive exam is a marathon. So you have to maintain your pace. Ek bar bas sitta full jalebi kam nahi. If you cannot continue with that pace, study. Let's say you're studying 8 hours every day. Maintain that pace. It is enough. Ek bar 12 hours puri na kali du humai jise kali na puri. Next day we as a lot of interest down as well. Na fourth day he started again and 12 hours again. Then next day he stopped. Next day he stopped. So how many days? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 days he studied only 24 hours. But this guy, he has studied 8 hours every day for 6 days, right? So he has studied double of what he has studied. So see, consistency is more important in competitive exam. Okay, and you have to be patient as well. Okay, because see, like I've said, you cannot clear the exam in first, second attempt. Most of you will not be able to do it. So will I clear it in my sixth attempt? Will I clear it in my fifth attempt? You don't know. So maintaining patience and maintaining consistency and giving hard work every day. These three is very important in competitive exam. And if you are a religious person as well, be be thankful and be more prayerful as well, because sometimes favor does happen, okay, in examination. Mo itu question pura laga aisi ho interview manuhan moge lok paisle bishi khushi paigina marks bal score ratio like this na. Or sometimes when you are giving examination you may fall sick also. I have some friends who fall sick and they were not able to give exam properly and they did not clear. Their whole year was wasted just because during examination they fell sick. So if you are a religious, this is not for everyone, okay, but if you are a religious person, you have to be more prayerful as well. Life there, you have to start being serious now. You're no longer a kid. If you're not serious, I'm telling you, time will just pass by. Najanina 30 pungjijai, Najanina 40 pungjijai, life goes on very quickly. So when you are at this stage, please be happy and make the best use of the opportunity given. See, like I've said, we have part A and part B in your GS2. This is for your GS2, okay, the descriptive portion. So there would be four types of question: 2 markers, 5 markers, 10 markers, 20 markers. Okay. So you have to start writing when you're practicing your answer writing. You have to practice how to write 2 markers, how to write 5 markers, 10 markers, and 20 markers. Got it? You are preparing for 10 markers and you have never prepared for 20 markers. Then how can you cope up in the examination hall? So for all these four category, you have to prepare. 2 markers are also very tricky, okay? Because then if you go too long, you will not have time for others. If you go too short, then you will not get marks. So you have to be you have to be a little smart here. How do I go about with various type of questions being asked? Okay. Now, in part two, this is Nagaland specific, right? Around 75 marks would be there. So this is very important. Nagaland portion is very important. So even here, like you can see, there will be 2 marks, 5 marks, 10 marks, 20 marks. Same questions, same type of questions. So please keep this in mind when you're preparing for your examination. Now, coming back to some of the sources, 1 second. Your orientation timing is till, let me cross check, okay? Okay, it's still 8:30. No? We have some time left. So now, polity. In polity, the best source for you to do is Lakshmi Kand, okay? Others also, if you want, you can do. That's up to you. See, life tena, you have free will. Mentor, some of them are too rebellious, okay? Their character is too rebellious. So, mentor khan pra ki ko na itu nasai. Alak alak sai. Mon na pung chigana alak alak sai. That is also a little risky, you know. If your mentor is no good, then you can do those things. But if they are giving you good advice, you have to follow them. But at the same time, like I've said, you have free will. So you can do whatever you want, okay? You can also not study. It's up to you. This is about your life. If you want to be serious about your life, if you want to support your parents who are getting old every passing day, if you want to take care of your siblings, if you want to take care of yourself, if you want to have a better life for yourself, or if you want to do something for the public, it's up to you. Okay, how the serious level. And since you are starting with your preparation, I want to give you one more advice. When you are preparing for civil services, no doubt you may want to get rich, you may want to get a good level of income, you may want to take care of your parents, you may want to do this and that. There may be many things you want to do. But if you are preparing for civil services, public service should be your main goal. How can I enter the service and impact the life of the people? This should be your main goal. And in doing so, you have to focus on Antyodayas, okay? That means the weakest of the weakest. Kukute Jalebi, how can I empower the poorest? How can I empower the weakest? This should be your goal. You should go from top, you should not go from top to bottom. You should go from bottom to top. Got it? सबसे दुख मनु के फर्स्ट हेल्प करिबी इतु पिछेते alop tik tak taka kan na middle class kan, then people, because the rest of them can take care of themselves without your hand holding approach, without capacity building, but they have no one to turn back to, the weakest of the weak. They are in the weakest of the food chain. So you have to focus on the weakest. This is what Gandhi have said, okay? Our freedom fighter, the father of the nation, he have said this. So Sarvodaya through Antyodaya, right? We have to ensure that welfare of everyone is achieved by first prioritizing on the weakest, okay? So before you start the service, you have to think of these things. Poisa karne hi kitab na purvide. There are many people who have cleared the exam and they are too much oriented in these things and they lose track of what public service is. Please do not be that kind of person. Now, public administration, I've already given you the source. Economy and geography also, I've already given you the source. You can read the same source for both of them. Now, social issues, environment, schemes, and all this, your current affairs material plus your coaching, they would be enough, okay? There is no standard book for this, okay? For environment, there is one standard book, very lengthy. It is no point studying that. Now, Nagaland as well, same source. Because earlier I was giving you sources not for prelims and all these things. So it is the same for prelims as well as for mains. But the only difference in your mains is you have to be more analytical, okay? You have to start giving opinions. Now, when you are giving opinions, please be mindful of this. Things to keep in mind when you're writing your answer paper, okay? Since this is orientation, I'm trying to make sure I cover almost everything because this will be like your map, your preparation process. This will be your map, how to go about. Na? To map na thakile to directionless way na you read, you start reading anything. You should not be like this. Your trajectory should be well mapped out, okay? And whatever sources I've mentioned here today, please make sure that you go and purchase them. Please purchase them. Do not hunishe or porijeshe. Don't be like this. Purchase the important books that I've mentioned. And you have to have physical things, okay? See, I'll tell you why physical notes are important. I also have all my soft copy in my iPad, okay? But the problem is, na, sometimes iPad te moi underline kurina thaka to mistake pa sob hari jai. So then I cannot start fresh, no, it becomes too tiring. For your class that's coming up, Ancient India, then 4-5 chapter moi underline kurala sob hari jai. Okay, it's like this. Sometimes it happens. So now, if had I done that in my physical notes, then it would have been better. No? But since I was referring to Toppers Academy notes, that also happened. Yesterday, I took the hard copy. So now I have to do something regarding this as well. But keeping that aside, learning from these experiences, right? And sometimes your device battery kunti hoise, device kiba complication hoise, these things can also happen. But if you have hard copy, you always have it, no, with you. You can underline it, you can use it, you can write upon it whatever way you want. So copy, you can do these things as well, but having physical things with you is also very important, okay? Please keep this in mind. And also another thing is this: whenever you are writing in your descriptive question, whether it is in essay or whether it is in GS2, one thing to keep in mind is this: whenever opportunities are given to give an opinion, please be mindful. Don't just give opinion unnecessarily, okay? You have to See, some of them will say, should I be pro-government or should I be anti-government, right? Kumma khandu, you must have joined protests in your lifetime also, na? So, uh, descriptive paper day, this is not for you to protest here, okay? Protest kane no hoide. See, it may sound a little harsh, but then you're trying to clear the exam. Exam clear kurigina balkam kuru kule kuribide. But now when you're giving exam, please try to be mindful, and all you have to do is be logical. Find the middle path. Share the grievances of both sides, but try to find a common ground. Try to find a logical answer to the question. Don't show your biases. Na? For example, some of you, bishi patriarchal as na. For example, there to answer social issues, laga question de patriarchal answer dishi ule marks na bawo to. And some of you may be too liberal also, and then you may become anti-men na. Mota hange alchi laga khan. These people are also there. Whatever your opinion are, whatever your biases are, it's up to you. But when you are writing answer, please do not show your biases. Try to be logical, try to understand both sides, and be a logical person. You have to be a logical person in life also, okay? You should know how to understand people, how various sections of society feel. This is what a civil servant should be. And you are also expected to do the same when you're writing your answer paper and when you are actually executing your power on the ground, okay? Now, going back to our source, like I've said, Nagaland also, it's all the same. Okay, all the same. Even within this, in any book, administration bit thakibo and current affairs the Nagaland oriented schemes can be thakibo. These are kind of related. Our history as well. In 2024 mains, they were asking about World War II in Kohima, right? Very static, all of you know, but all of you don't know things in detail. Kutte bra gushishe, kutte tahan laga trek thagishe, tennis court te kinya, how was the fight? Na, who was the general of the British? Who was the general of the Japanese forces? What was the division of the Japanese forces? Na, all these things. These things you may have heard of it, but if you don't study well, no history of Nagaland as well, you'll find it hard, okay? Because the question was for 20 marks, if I'm not mistaken. So 20 marks, you cannot just write nonsense. It has to be factual. Now, English as well, like we have already discussed in brief earlier. See, grammar de 20 marks as so practice some grammar. Comprehension 80 marks, very important. See, and the good thing about these two is it is correct or wrong. There is no in between. If you are correct, you're getting full mark. If you're wrong, you're not getting a mark. It is descriptive no way they correct to give 1 mark na digina half mark they cannot do that. They cannot do that. You're getting full mark. When you're writing essay, no doubt you're never going to get 100 mark. Okay, if you write a perfect essay also. So essay to do it will depend on who is checking, right? But these two, it depends on you. So please do it properly. Comprehension and grammar as well, and keep practicing essay. And your biases, na essay de man na dikhavide. Don't show your biases in essay. Be careful. So what you do is in essay also you have to keep in track of news. What is happening in India? What is happening in Nagaland? Because themes relating to that will ask. So what I'm trying to say is this: current affairs is very important for Nagaland, for NPSC, because current affairs for geography, some question would come for economy, for polity, schemes, awards, sports. Then even in your mains, some question would come regarding what happened in current affairs. What and see, even in essay also, important themes may also come. Now, static question will also come, okay? Certain areas where they keep asking. Those things will be repeated. But then current affairs also play a very important role. Environment topic, hot topic they can ask about environment. They can ask about like wildlife issues also. if there's something happening in that area. So please keep this in mind. And since this is not part of your essay class, I will not dwell on this essay, but please keep this in mind. Essay is also a very important component. So you should start practicing essay, okay? I'm not going to, this is not a perfect essay. It's just a rough essay I've prepared for you guys, and this is from UPSC. But UPSC essay is different from NPSC essay because, see, these are more philosophical in nature, right? Keep your face to the sunshine and you cannot see a shadow. This is about having positive attitude in life, right? So you have to write an essay regarding this. This type of questions are actually better. This type of essay are better because it then checks the personality of the person, okay? And depending on individual personality, different essay will come up. Nagaland laga essay to GS laga general studies laga question lengthier format is na yes so far na. But then what I would suggest you is to start practicing essay as well on your own. So some steps to keep in mind is this. You have been given a question, take up a PYQ. Then brainstorm that topic. Let's say this is your page, na. So okay, I'm talking about certain topics, na. Let's say what can be the topic? Let's say the topic could be about okay, crime against women in Nagaland. That is on the rise. Na? So about the issue, ways to mitigate it, what can be the causes, all these things may come. So when you are brainstorming that topic, you may come, okay, one example I've got Kohimala incident. Then you have come about the Pimla incident, in Maikam incidents. You may have heard about reports by NCRB that crime in Nagaland is very good, but then correlated with ground reality. Then you can talk about National Commission for Women, no? Their report. And maybe you can talk about various Beti Bachao, Beti Padao, all these things. You can talk about early marriage. That's where the crime starts, no? Domestic violence and all these things. So you have to start thinking like this. After you have made out all this rough brainstorming, arrange them in points. Certain things can be clubbed together, so club them together. And after creating all the important points, at least there should be 15 to 20 points, okay? And then sub theme bana dente at least within 5 to 10, depending on whether there are sub themes or not. You're making let's say you're making 5 themes, then there have to be more sub themes within that theme, okay? Or else generally you have to reach at least 10, including the main theme and the sub theme. And you can start, depending on the points you have written, you have to write an introduction based on those points. A random introduction na likhivide, you should align with what you will be writing in your body. Then after that, you have to start writing the body. And when you write conclusion as well, conclusion should also reflect what has been written here. And you should also put some positive message in the end. Crime has been increasing, but the society at large is more vigilant. News are also more proactive. All these things, okay? Positive message should be given in the end. Don't end your essay in a gloomy way. Na? Our girls will keep dying. Nagaland has no scope. Don't write these things, okay? You have to end with the positive connotations. So, and there you write reflect the ground reality, reflect what can be done, and reflect the positive message that is going to happen. Okay, so when your interview, when your examiner is done with checking your paper, he ends with a very positive note, right? And thereby he or she will also want to give you more marks, right? So I will refer to some of your questions. Okay, if you have any question, please let me know. Please take the time to ask me through voice or through chat, okay? We have 47 of you guys. And going through your names, uh, it's very nice. It's from various, it's very diverse. It's very diverse. So I'm very happy to see all of you. And like I've said, uh, coming Monday, the next Monday, that's where we'll start with your ancient India. Okay, so please be prepared. And today, after this session, I will ask your admin ma'am to send you the PDF of ancient and medieval India. And what I will suggest you is please go through it. Okay, you will not understand completely, but just go through it. Nam can be familiarized with you. Now, when you are attending the classes, you will retain the information better. Or else, if everything is fresh, I'm telling you, it will be so hard and information overload over there. And see, classes are limited. I've been given only a specific number of days. So I also have to maintain my pace according to that number of days. So I want to go slow and steady. But then you also have to do your part to increase our pace together. I want to go together with you guys, okay? I want to handhold together. Weakest Kankebi, I want to keep in mind. Smartest Kankebi, I want to keep in mind. I don't want it to be too slow. I don't want it to be too fast. So to help me achieve that, please read the thing on your own. And one more last thing. In class, please try to be more responsive next time. Today is orientation, so I understand. But next time in classes, don't disturb the class, okay? But whenever questions are asked, try to be more responsive. Try to say whatever you want in text also. Don't disturb the class. Don't use rubbish languages, okay? See, you are you are studying to be the highest ranking officer in the state. Okay, to do that, you have to also have the habit of being an officer, right? You have to be mindful of the words you use and what you say. And character development happens today. It starts from today. Orientation till you clear the examination. Okay, so please maintain that positive attitude. All the best, and I wish you a very successful career and very successful journey in your NPSC preparation. All the best, and thank you all. Okay, thank you for attending the classes. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, welcome. See you on Monday. Okay, welcome. Okay, welcome. Have a good day. Bye bye.